Hi, I'm Steve Feldman, candidate for U.S. Congress in North Carolina's 10th Congressional District. I've been reading one of the Fox reports from U.S. Congresswoman Virginia Foxx. As usual, she's talking about how horrible the current Democratic administration is and describing their failures in her usual colorful terminology. I like Virginia Foxx. I think she's a good human being. I understand she's a devout Christian, at least from what I can read of her writings. I've met her a few times to talk about issues that were concerning to me, and she was very pleasant every time and listened patiently. I just disagree with her on policies. I find the way she denigrates Democratic leadership to be almost hypocritical at times. When Democrats are in office, she decries their deficit spending. When the Republicans are in charge, she seems to forget that deficit spending will bankrupt our country. In the issue of the Fox report that I've been reading, she focused on how horrible the Biden administration's withdrawal from Afghanistan was and how disastrously it was handled. She suggested that Trump would have prevented the disgraceful withdrawal from ever happening. Personally, I'm very glad we're out of Afghanistan, and I think whatever problems there were with our withdrawal, it's far better than having our troops remain there. We should be using our resources to help people here at home, not pouring them down the drain, and worse, making other people angry with us in other countries. I'm sure Virginia Foxx wants peace at least as much as I do. I'm certain of it. She writes that peace comes through strength. I think peace comes from being peaceful. I know we wouldn't want Taliban troops patrolling our streets, and I'm quite sure that many in Afghanistan don't want our troops in their country telling them how to live their lives. They may be very conservative people and think America's problems with drugs, out-of-wedlock births, 1 million abortions a year, and school shootings are not a culture to be emulated. Instead, let's lead by fixing our own issues and setting an example for others to follow. Fox is strongly against anti-Semitism. I am Jewish, and I think I have a different definition of anti-Semitism than she does. I applaud her support for Jewish people, but we should be supporting peace and security for both Jewish Israelis and Christian and Muslim Palestinian families in completely equal measure. Fox seems to think that speaking out for equal treatment for Palestinian families is somehow anti-Semitic. I lost family in the Holocaust in Poland, and the lesson that I learned was that we should stand against all injustice. Supporting the killing of Palestinian families is abhorrent to me. I'm sure Fox thinks these killings are necessary for peace. I think the killing of Palestinian families, the maiming of Palestinian children, will only bring more anger, hatred, and violence directed towards Israelis, towards Jews, and towards Americans. Someone told me of wisdom from a Buddhist monk who said that when the lettuce is not growing well, you don't blame the lettuce. You take personal responsibility. Fox has been in office for over 2 decades, and during her time in office, there has not once, been a balanced budget, even when Republicans held both houses of Congress and the presidency. The deficit grew under Trump and a Republican legislature, and that was in the good times before COVID. Has Fox apologized for that? Taken any personal blame for not being a more effective steward of our tax dollars? Fox continues to denigrate people in other groups, including Americans in other parties. I'd love to see her live by what I believe is one of the most beautiful pieces of Christian wisdom. Why do you complain about the splinter in your neighbor's eye when you have a plank in your own? Virginia Foxx doesn't want to destroy America. She supports Israel, but I'm sure she doesn't want to see Palestinian children die. She wants peace as much as I do. I think she wants to see a balanced budget at least as much as I do, and maybe more. Her approach just hasn't been effective. If I'm elected to Congress, I would work with people like her and with Democrats. I'd recognize our shared goals and try to end divisive rhetoric. I'd try to encourage both a more fiscally responsible government and a more peaceful culture. And if I wasn't successful, I would apologize for failing and step aside. I wouldn't blame the lettuce for not growing well.
Paid for by Feldman for Congress.